Hello friends, welcome back to Learning Nails and Aesthetics, and now Cosmetology. YouTube has been having some issues. If you come across a video that says that the content is currently unavailable or the comments are turned off, refresh the page and that should fix the problem. We are in Chapter 11 in the Milady Cosmetology book, Hair Cutting, continuing page 296. Keep in mind, I am not AI, so mistakes will be made. Also, check out my other videos, the Milady Nails book, their Aesthetics book, and their Foundations book is a companion to all of these. So that one is definitely a must. If there's something that you are interested in, leave a comment, let me know. Or leave any comment, just an emoji, something. Let me know you're there and listening. You don't have to write a dissertation in the comments, just something simple is great. I really appreciate it. And if you come across a video that is not necessarily interesting to you, keep watching. I'm sure you'll find something that is interesting. So here we are, texturizing with thinning shears. Texturizing using thinning shears is accomplished as follows. Removing bulk, thinning. Thinning shears were originally designed to thin hair and blend. Many clients are afraid of the word thinning. Removing bulk or removing weight may be better word choices. When using thinning shears for this purpose, follow the same sectioning as used in the haircut. Comb the subsection out from the head and cut it with the thinning shears at least 4 to 5 inches, 10 to 12.5 centimeters from the scalp. On longer lengths, you may need to repeat the process again as you move out toward the ends. On coarse hair textures, stay farther away from the scalp, as sometimes the shorter hairs will poke through the haircut. On blunt haircuts, avoid thinning the top surfaces because you may see lines where the hair is cut with the thinning shears. When working on curly hair, use the freehand notching technique instead. Removing weight from the ends. You can also use thinning shears to remove bulk from the ends. This works well on many hair textures, including both thin and thick hair. It helps taper the perimeter of graduated and blunt haircuts. Elevating each subsection from the head, place the thinning shears into the hair at an angle and close the shears a few times as you work out toward the ends. Figure 11-139 shows thinning out the ends with texturizing shears. Let's go back to the previous page with the caution. When thinning or texturizing hair, take your time and be aware of how much hair you are removing. Once hair is cut, it is impossible to replace. If you cut too much, you may have difficulty achieving the desired hairstyle. Back over to page 297. Shear over comb with thinning shears. This technique is useful for blending weight lines on fine textured hair and can also be used on thick and coarse textured hair that is cut very short, especially at the sides and the nape. This texture helps hair lie closer to the head. Other thinning shear techniques. Any texturizing technique performed with regular hair cutting shears may also be performed with thinning shears. When working on very fine or thin hair, try using thinning shears for carving, point cutting, and slicing. This helps avoid over-texturizing and removing too much weight. Basic haircuts enhanced with texturizing techniques. Examine these 3 basic haircuts and see how texturizing techniques can change the appearance of a haircut. Figure 11-40 shows a blunt haircut without freehand razor slicing, and figure 11-141 shows a blunt haircut after freehand razor slicing. Figure 11-42 shows a graduated haircut without freehand razor slicing, and figure 11-143 shows a graduated cut with freehand razor slicing. Figure 11-144 shows a uniform layered haircut without texturizing, and figure 11-145 shows the same haircut with notching on the ends and freehand notching on the interior. Check in. What is another name for affiliating? What is carving? Which texturizing cutting technique works well on curly hair? Describe point cutting. What is the difference between razor over comb and razor rotation? Learning objective number 13. Explain clipper cut styles and techniques. Basic clipper cutting. In this cut, the hair is cropped close along the bottom and sides and becomes longer as you travel up the head. The distance between the comb and the scalp determines the amount of hair to be cut. The clipper can be positioned horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Follow the steps for performing the short hair basic clipper cut in procedure 11-5. 11-5 basic clipper cut, see page 335. Basic clipper techniques. Basic clipper techniques include clipper overcomb and clipper cutting with clipper guard attachments. Clipper overcomb. The clipper overcomb technique allows you to cut the hair very close to the scalp and create a flat top or square shape. Figure 11-146. Use the comb the same way as when working with shear over comb. The main difference is that the clippers move across the comb, which requires you to keep the comb in position as you cut. The angle at which you hold the comb determines the amount of hair that is removed. Clippers are more accurate when used on dry to slightly damp hair. Use the clipper's level switch or a numbered attachment to vary the distance that the clipper is held from the head. For the clipper overcomb technique, 1. Stand directly in front of the section on which you are working. The area you are cutting should be at eye level. 2. Place the comb, teeth first, into the hairline and turn the comb so the teeth are angled slightly away from the head. Always work against the hair's growth patterns to ensure that you are lifting the hair away from the head and cutting evenly. 3. Hold the comb stationary and cut the length against the comb, moving the clippers from right to left. If you are left-handed, move the clippers left to right. 4. Although your movements should be fluid, remember to stop momentarily to cut the section. Remove the comb from the hair and begin the motion again, using the previously cut section underneath as your guideline. Continue working up the head toward the weight or length. Let's go up to focus on styling consultation, clipper haircut. Get specifics from your client. Consider these questions. What length would you like on top? Do you want the hair shorter on the sides and back and longer on the top? Would you like it cut over the ears? Do you have any areas of concern? Do you have any growth direction changes that are typically cut too short? How would you like your neckline shaped? Square, round, tapered, natural? How would you like your hairline shaped? Sharp, lineup, blended, natural? Clipper cutting with attachments. Using the length and guard attachments is a quick and easy way to create short haircuts. With practice, clipper cutting with attachments allows you to create many different shapes. For example, you can use the 1/4 inch 0.63 centimeters guard on the nape and sides. You can switch to the 1/2 inch 1.25 centimeters guard as you reach the peritoneal area. This will maintain more length at the area. This technique produces a square shape. Fading. A fade is a tapered haircut where the hair transitions from one length to the next, creating a faded look with no hard lines. This technique combines artistry with tool knowledge to achieve the best results. There are many fade styles, including a bald fade, where you start from bare skin. High fades, low fades, and temple fades are some additional examples. Learning to fade takes practice. Coarse hair, dark hair, and tightly curled hair all require special considerations. Before cutting textured hair, comb or brush it to identify the curl pattern and growth direction. This helps you determine the clipper setting, guard selection, and proper cutting techniques. Follow the steps for performing a fade in Procedure 11-6 or Procedure 11-7. 11-6, taper fade on straight hair, see page 339. 11-7, classic fade on curly hair, see page 345. Lineup. A lineup is when straight lines are sharp angles are shaped in the natural hairline to change the look for your existing hairline. This can be created with clippers or trimmers. This is an advanced technique. Practice only after you gain haircutting experience. Tips for clipper cutting. Always work against the natural growth pattern, especially at the nape on low fade and straighter hair. This ensures you lift the hair away from the head and cut the hair evenly. Clipper direction changes depending on whether you are cutting coarse, straight, or textured hair. Always work with small sections. When using the clipper over comb technique, do not try to cut all the way across the entire length of the comb. The area you are cutting should be no wider than 3 inches, 7.5 centimeters. When using the clipper over comb technique, the comb's angle determines the length. If the comb is consistently held parallel to the head, you will cut the hair the same length as you move up the head. If the comb is angled away from the head as you move, you begin to increase length. Focus on styling consultation, fade haircut. Get specifics from your client. Consider these questions. How much length would you like to keep on the top? How close would you like your fade to be? Check in. What is a clipper cut? Procedure 11-1, blunt cut. Implements and materials: blow dryer and concentrator, classic styling brush, cutting cape, cutting comb or all-purpose comb with measurements on the spine, diffuser, hair cutting shears, neck strip, sectioning clips, shampoo and conditioner, leave-in conditioner for detangling curly hair, shampoo cape, spray bottle with water, styling product for finish, towels, wide tooth comb. Preparation. Before you begin, perform 10-1 pre-service procedure. Adjust your steps accordingly depending on the desired look. During the consultation, determine if the cut will be bone dry or wet depending on the client's desired finishing service, worn straight or curly in its natural fall and curl pattern. When cutting curly hair in its natural state, remember to use light to moderate tension. If precise length is desired by the client, it is recommended for curly hair to be straightened prior to cutting. Estimated time, 30 to 45 minutes. Evaluate client's hair. Texture for curls. Sorry, that didn't read right. Evaluate client's hair texture for curls, waves, and growth patterns. Drape client for a shampoo. Refer to Procedure 10-3, draping. Shampoo and condition the hair as necessary. Refer to Procedure 10-5, Basic Shampooing and Conditioning, for detailed instructions. Escort the client to the styling chair and replace the draping. Secure the neck strip around client's neck. Place a cape over the neck strip or towel and fasten in back. Fold neck strip or towel down over cape so that no part of the cape touches the client's skin. Detangle the hair using the detangling brush or wide tooth comb. Part hair in center using the nose as a reference point. Section from front hairline down to the nape. Place the comb behind the ear and section from behind the right ear to the apex and then down toward the left ear. Remember to adjust tension if hair is curly. Secure the left and right sections with clips. Place the comb on top of the ear and section straight across to the opposite ear. Any hair above the comb will be distributed to the front two sections. There should now be 4 quadrants from the back, 2 sections from the top of the ear down to the nape. Note, when working on a mannequin, above the ear and down toward the nape is considered the back section. Starting in the left back quadrant, create a horizontal or horseshoe 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch, 1.25 to 0.63 centimeter section from left to right. Comb the hair from the scalp to ends with 0-degree elevation, using your index and middle fingers to control the hair. Create your guideline. For the back section, cut from the center out toward one ear and then back to the center toward the opposite ear. When cutting curly hair in its natural state, remember to use a light to moderate tension. Do not over-direct the hair. Use the client's natural fall with horseshoe or horizontal partings. To help achieve a straight line, have your client keep their head straight and their legs uncrossed. Keep the shears and comb horizontal while cutting and maintain good finger dexterity. Continue adding 1/2 to 1/4 inch, 1.25 to 0.68 centimeters subsection until completing the entire 2 back quadrants. To help avoid creating elevation in this cut, keep your fingers and shears very close to your client's head or back while cutting. The further your hands move away from your client, the more elevation you create in the haircut. Moving to the front right quadrant, continue dropping down 1/2 to 1/4 inch, 1.25 to 0.68 centimeter subsections, cutting horizontal using the previous guide from the back right quadrant. Maintain your center part. Move to the front left quadrant and repeat the steps using horizontal or horseshoe sections throughout the entire cut. Use the previous guide from the back section or the section behind the ear to continue the haircut. Remember to use less tension and leave hair lower to account for shrinkage when working on curly hair. Once the haircut is complete, start in the center back and comb from scalp to ends. Make sure the hair is at 0 degrees with no elevation. Stand in front of your client and starting at the scalp area, slowly measure the right and left sides of the haircut. Adjust accordingly. Dry the hair for final styling. If the hair will be styled curly, add styling product and work it through the hair with your hands and dry with a diffuser. If the hair will be styled straight, blow dry the hair straight and smooth. Use a styling brush to section the hair the same way it was cut. Do not use a round brush as it will create a bend at the ends of the hair, making it difficult to check the line. Once the hair is dry, visually check for a horizontal line all around the head and clean up the perimeter line as needed. Using the wide teeth of the cutting comb, comb the hair to its natural fall and clean up your bob line. Be sure to avoid cutting your line shorter by creating a new guide. The finished look. Nice curlies there. Post-service. To complete the procedure, perform 10-2 post-service procedure. Procedure 11-1. Blunt haircut will be our next video. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was helpful to you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And have a great day. Love you. Bye.